contact.
Mate, are you?
Nighttime not left. Chungus will be up next. He's gone a lot earlier than most of these other guys, and he's only doing one shot. And then down into the final chicane, he's got not a lot to deploy, not a lot of fuel left either, but he's perfected it pretty well. Up to the line, Chungus goes to P3. Here comes Knight starting his lap. Then I see a Williams of Static Fiber. Is he improving? No, he's 2 seconds, 1 second. Static Fiber, he's not gonna make it. Yes, he does not make it to the line in time. He will not improve. He is on pole. And AP also will not make it in time. Does that get in the way of Alex Hansen, though? It might. It just might. It was definitely a little bit scary there. But here comes Alex up to the line. He's up to P8. And then it's a V-carb of... Actually, Stiggy didn't even get to set a lap. So that might help Frosty's just a little bit. Cabbage is coming up to the line now. All the deploy used. Cabbage goes to P7. And it's a McLaren of Bolt. He invalidates. He'll stay P14. And then comes Yogg. And then Rassam. Yogg invalidated. Rassam also may have messed up his lap. So then we're going to look back at Gwil. Gwil has not set a lap yet. He needs to put something on the board. It'll be P7 right next to his teammate. Joshi will be up next. What can he do? He needs a big result here. Yogg retires. Up to the line, he'll go quickest. M&H then responds. Goes even quicker by, oh my god! Is that 8 tenths? I think that's 8 tenths between them. About 6.675 tenths between the two of them. M&H and Joshi will be this season's story as we sit right now. And Knight up to the line, he just needs a time, and he'll put it P14. Unless Chungus has anything else to say, no he doesn't. That'll be our qualifying. As we, Will, hurry your dumb ass up. As we get going now, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go for the Spa Sprint. And it's a great start by M&H and a very decent start from Chungus as it's coming up down the inside. We're going to look for any contact. Turn 1, I said it was deadly. The Ferrari of Cabbage has a moment. And there's a little bit of mayhem in the back. And Frosty is up to P13. Zealam's dropped back and Stiggy's following Frosty's right behind Cabbage. Ooh, the Ferraris collide. And Cohen's off the track. Rennie is going to capitalize off that. And so many other people. Friskies and Cabbage fighting. I think Cabbage got the wing damage, and he does. Cabbage and Cohen wing damage as... Ooh, it's a little bit of mayhem down this center group. Trying to see the race strategies. Like, oh, there's a Ferrari. Oh, big crash. And I think that's Bolt and Cabbage off the track. Not really too sure what's happened. Yogg has moved up a place, but there's a lot of mayhem in this opener for the sprint. And like I said, Frosty's, he was starting second last. He's up to P9. And Cabbage, who was one of those back markers, or sorry, Stiggy, who was also one of those back markers, is up into P11. So far so good for some of these guys who started on the back row. And as we look ahead, Joshi has dropped behind Static Fiber. So Static Fiber with a brilliant start here to start the day. As we pull up the telemetry. A little bit of mayhem still happening. AP might have had a moment with Cabbage. Cabbage missed on a front wing plate. Bolt is as well. And Willie has in his AI, he really is just typing to everybody in Discord. Coming through the final bits of corners, there's been a little bit of a mishap. I think ZLM might have wing damage. And here we go, DRS is enabled. Static Fiber will aggress onto M&H very early here. And Friskies looking around the outside of Knight. That's very rare to see an outside move. What's happened there, but it's all chaos in the sprint right now. As here comes Stiggy looking for a move. Looking for the place. Oh! And him and Knight just contact her. I mean, I don't think that could have really been either of their faults. Maybe just a little bit more room one way or the other. But Stiggy losing out more than Knight. Knight just sits back behind Alex, and Alex will move up into the top 10. Right on his tail. As Alex and Knight could really pose a threat to Rennie, depending on when they get past the kick over of Cohen. There goes a move! Alex Hansen, around the outside! Oh, and Cohen just... Oh, not really too much to say there. I mean, Alex was forced all the way wide, going through Puhan, and just a little bit of contact will just end up sending Cohen wide, and Cohen will definitely not be the happiest about that, as Knight slots up into P9, and Alex will forfeit all the way down to P10. But as Joshi marches his way all the way down to the Camel Straight, is probably going to get double passed here by the Alpine and by the Aston Martin, as the Aston Martins have a stellar run. He might get the Alpine here too. M&H looking for a move, gonna force Joshi down the inside. Joshi has to go offensive. A little bit of controversy forces M&H off the track, and Chungus looking for a move up into P3, and he can't quite get it done, but a little bit of a... Oh my god! And actually Chungus hits the back of M&H, sends M&H loose, and breaks his wing, so Chungus is in the hot seat now, as Rasam and Lil Plays really starting to capitalize off of this, and like I said, Friskies is still chunking down on time, and Static Fiber will pull away, and it's his points to claim. He has the fastest lap too, so he is max points for the sprint right now, and Rasam is back in that DRS, and this will only help out Frosties more and more, as Alex Hansen got past Knight, but Mini Rennie, I think, will be fortunate enough to keep this final point for Red Bull. And Frosty's on this final lap. I don't think he's going to get DRS, but we look a little bit further ahead as M&H has had a better exit than Joshi. A little bit of a rough, as I say, he gets a little bit of a rough moment, but no battery. He's got no battery compared to Joshi, who's up ahead. He's going to try and do everything again, but Joshi's got 80% battery. It's just not even going to be a fight. And as you can see, the DRS and the little bits of battery is not going to get M&H any closer, as Lil Plays gets ever so slightly closer to Rasam. Rasam obviously struggling more than the Mercedes driver, and Frosties will miss out on a chance to fight for more points. But then, as I say that, a little bit of a commentator's curse, Lil Plays hits the back of Rasam, because Rasam had a moment. This might open an opportunity for Frosties, depending on how Lil Plays drives the rest of this lap. And Joshi looking very strong, very firm in holding off this P2 spot. Overall better battery management, because he can just sit behind, and Knight getting past Alex Hansen. Alex Hansen having that 3-second. We'll just sit back, and Low Play is starting to struggle now. He's been dropped off, and Frosties is starting to hunt. Rasam has that 3 seconds, so these two will inevitably get 2 extra positions for free, and Rasam really starting to struggle. But it will come down to the final bits of corners, and Lil Plays is getting a nice little toe from Rasam, so Frosties inevitably will not get that P5 off of Lil Plays. But Static Fiber, I mean, overall, just an amazing sprint race, and he will come home. He will take the sprint win, and he knows that he did very well. Joshi P2, M&H P3, Chungus P4. Lil Plays will come home P5, and Frisky's P6. Rasam will come home P7 after the penalty, and Rennie will come home P8. So, I mean, Alpine and Red Bull, the only 2 teams to score points in this sprint race. And, oh no, Stiggy's actually crashed at the line, but he somehow made it work. Finishing P11, Knight P9, Cohen P10. After that wing damage, I mean, Cohen's held it off very well. Oh, 42.4. And if he finds any more improvement, but he's burning so much battery all the way down this straight into the bus stop chicane. Goes a little bit deep, nothing crazy, but his exit won't be as great. Up to the line, where will he improve to? He'll improve to P3, just enough to beat Chungus. And Rennie will be next. Rennie coming out and about. All the deploy used. A lot of battery left over as AP retires. Came out too late. He'll be P13, and Rennie will not improve. That's going to be a little bit upsetting. Stiggy, his teammate, maybe got a little bit of an incident there. Stiggy's got wing damage. Gulia is actually on a lap invalidate, so Gulia's actually, well, Gulia's not happy with himself there. Rennie driving through some barricades and bollards. DLM getting ready to go racing. There's a big mosh pit here as there's a driver off the track. It's Knight. Williams of Static Fiber, who was on a lap, is now going to be intruded and impeded by a lot of cars. He will go even quicker somehow. Alex up about 2/10 from what I can see, so he will be going to at least P7 if he can pull this through. Friskies joins. Alex goes to P7. M&H goes to P2. He splits the Williams, but Luca might be able to respond to it. And ZLM cannot find an improvement. Can Luca respond? Yes, he will get his P2 back from potential rival. And that, I think, will be quali. Actually, Yog is the last one to cross the line. Nothing there for him. And there we go. That will be quali. To see what these guys do, as here we go. 5 red lights, and we're away for Spa for the main race. And immediately there's a Haas in the wall, and M&H is looking to fight early. Frisky's up into P4. There's wing damage, and the Williams are distraught. Starting 1-2 are now going to be 2 and 4. Frisky's looking for the move on Luca, and he'll get it done. Frisky's from P6 up into P3, and it's a brilliant start. M&H up into the lead. We'll look a little bit further back to see what happens. Little plays past Chungus, and these medium runners are really starting to go. Rashav from last, all the way up to 13th. So an amazing start, going down to 8th, and we look to see what carnage happens here. As that Haas, oh, there's a spinning Ferraris. The Ferraris take each other out, and that's a little bit of bad chemistry. And Alex has damage, ZLM has damage, AP has damage. Both the Ferraris have damage. Actually, no, Cabbage doesn't have damage, but Alex is just going to retire. And Alex's wheel actually broke. Oh no. So Alex switched on the controller, and Rassam is up into P11. He's actually side by side with Mini Rennie. Mini Rennie forced him a little bit wide. Is this going to open an opportunity for Bolt? Bolt thought about it, but it will get the better. Knight is up into P10, only one on these medium tires, so you're going to tell he's got pace. He's going to want to go. And as you can see, he's really starting to push it. Let's check a little bit further up. Frisky's actually got past Zaidu. And so it's now M&H, Friskies, and then Zaidu and Static Fiber have swapped. So Static Fiber starting pole is now down to P4. So very interesting. Chungus. Going, looking for a move on Joshi. Comes down the inside, and Joshi will just hold that position as there's, I think, wing damage a little bit further back. Big pile up as the Mercedes of low plays will go into the pits. Stiggy will get past by Rassam for the time being, but will fight the inside. And Rassam, with that outside traction, will move ahead. And Rassam's just on a stellar start. 1 lap, and he's got 10 positions done. I don't think you can ask for any better of a start from a driver of that caliber. But there goes Friskies on M&H. The teammates gonna have to work together. M&H winning the opener in Australia and then missing round 2. Frosty's, I'm not too sure on where he finished last week. I can't quite remember. I think it was on the podium. But Zaidu really, you can tell, is trying to do everything he can to catch back up. Struggling a little bit. And same thing with Static Fiber. Static Fiber going wide, starting to struggle as Yog is off the track. He's gone straight on into No Name. And is just retired. So it's going to be a double DNF for Haas. One unfortunate. Going fastest lap as Static Fiber gets past M&H. So very interesting on this short straight. He gets the move done. Friskies is going to have a second gap. And this might just beat Static Fiber as AP gets a 10-second. Is Static Fiber going to have this DRS? I think he might just have it. He doesn't, and he doesn't. So Static Fiber going for a move on M&H. That'll beach him from getting DRS. M&H notices this, and he's gonna get the move done. At least I would assume. Static Fiber goes defensive, and he'll hold him off for just a little bit longer. So this front fight is really just between the Williams and the Alpines, as Chungus has fallen a little bit further back. Cohen in P6. Joshi stays P7, hasn't really moved anywhere. And then Rassam is fighting his way forward with Mini, Rennie, and Stiggy fighting for the last of the top 10. See that and try and capitalize off of that as Rassam looking for a move around the outside of Knight. Does he get the move done? He will, and these medium tires not really doing Knight justice right about now. But onto the Camel Straight. Static Fiber will have DRS. He will get the chance. He will look for a move. He's led before, and he'll do it again. Down the inside. Frosty's looking for maybe a second chance move, and he will not have an opportunity to do so. Knight looking for a move back on Rassam, and actually completely forces Rassam off the track. I think they might have collided because Knight has wing damage now. Rassam will keep P8. Rennie will slide past, as we saw, and Knight with wing damage with those medium tires, so not too great. And Rassam will get a 10-second for corner cutting, and that's inevitably gonna hurt his race. I mean, stellar start from Rassam from P19 all the way up to P8. And he's now got a 10-second that he's gonna have to serve in the pits. Is going to hurt him. The senior team driver in Mini Rennie. So Stiggy's starting to have a little bit of a late lunge as Cohen and Joshi, these two, story of today so far, fighting, and Cohen losing the rears a little bit. And ultimately getting passed by Joshi. And Joshi will be up into P6. Will look to charge towards Chungus, but doesn't have DRS, and neither does Chungus. So this will start to be a struggle, as those, like I said, Williams and Alpines are really on their own level, as finally Static Fiber has broken away from Friskies. But you can only imagine what the tire wear is starting to feel like, depending on how hard he's pushing. We'll go in. Zaidu. Where will this put him in comparison to M&H? The Williams really flying on these intermediate tires, and Joshi will ultimately end with the quickest lap on the day. Won't be enough. And Alpine is coming out of the pits though, so we're staying out one more lap better. And it will be the answer, yes. Will Cohen jump a place? No, he won't. Check a little further behind. Frisky's AI getting passed by Cabbage's AI on the inters. Well, that's not. That's Frisky's. That's Frisky's fully back. So those hard tires, 15 laps old, are not gonna really help on the long run. He's missing out on big points. I feel like Frisky's might be a little bit better tire-wise than Cabbage. He's got straight line speed. He's got DRS. DRS is still on, very controversially enough, and he's up into P7. So Frisky's back, and he's still in the points. So very shockingly enough, he doesn't really have much time as we start the penultimate lap. Static Fiber in the lead by about 2.8, 2.9 seconds. And Cohen is trying very hard to get closer. He's got a run here. He's got a very good exit. He's going to look down the inside. That's a very poor POV. Down the inside goes Cohen. He'll get the move done. He won't have the battery against Joshi to hold him off on this straight. Rennie gets a 3-second time penalty, so that will be helpful towards Bolt. And there goes Cohen off the track. The tires not in his favor, and actually lagging entirely. Went from whoa. What's happened to Cohen? So a little bit of a lag spike, and Cohen is down to P6. What's happened here? Lap and a half to gap 2 seconds. It will be done. But Zaidu's got Chungus, and Cohen's back in it again. I don't know how Chungus... Oh, Chungus is off the track! So Chungus completely off the track. And we're going out and around here. And here we go down to the final straight. Cohen looking to make up mistakes. He's not going to get past Zaidu, so a little bit controversial. But we will start the final lap. Cohen looking for a move on Zaidu once again. He did it once, he doesn't want to do it again, and Zaidu's just going to give up pretty fairly. And Cohen, if he wants this P4, is going to have to gap 3 seconds. It's going to be possible. Luca is hitting 74%, so he's in the puncture territory overall. I don't think he's going to be able to join back. We'll finish P12 for him. And Static Fiber wins around Spa 2 times today. He'll win the sprint, he'll win the main race, and it's just an overall amazing, outstanding day. MNH comes home P2, beats Luca. Joshi will come home in P3. A rough day for him, but he'll get back on the podium. And as Cohen rounds the final corner, everything down, he'll cross the line. Does he have enough to beat Zaidu? Oh, it'll be close, and he does! Cohen beats Zaidu by under 2/200ths of a second, Cabbage ahead of Chungus because he's had a clean day. Stiggy and Bolt, though, all the way down to the line. These guys are putting every inch of it into it. And I think Stiggy giving Bolt the position back. I'm not too sure what's happening here between these two. Bolt, what's happening here? Bolt and Stiggy off the track. This is very controversial. Stiggy gets a 3-second. Still, he gets a 20. So much controversy in the end of this race. But Mini Rennie snags the P10, Stiggy P11, Bolt P9. But that's the race.